four corners a mile away. Look at Sister Eddie, I know way you can marry my sister if you wanna.
How's everyone doing? You feeling good tonight? Listen, I am multitasking like a boss over here. I am dancing to music. I am admitting everyone in the waiting room. I'm making sure people are muted. There's a lot happening over here in this room right now. Can you guys all please make sure that you are muted? Do that for me. Take that task off my list, will you? And everyone make sure that you're muted. Sometimes you think you catch everyone and you just don't. Hold on. I see the requests. Are you happy now? I mean, come on. Let me get everybody in here. What's your energy level tonight? Please put a number in the message thread. What's your energy level? How are you feeling? Give me a number. Some of you know what the only number option you have. Some of you know. Some of you already know. You only have one option for the number. But I'm just gonna let you put it in there. Heather P she is here. I am here for that, Heather. I really am. Okay, we're gonna get started. Listen, we won't talk about Bruno, but we'll talk about other things tonight, okay? And then we'll come back to Bruno in a little bit. So some of you put less than 10 in the comments, and some of you put 10, and some of you and I have had this conversation before. Why is the only option 10? Who knows? There's only one option, and it is 10. And I would love to know if anyone knows while I keep admitting. That's right, Chelsea, because we're on this side of the earth this morning, this afternoon, this evening. We're on this side of the earth today. So the only option you have for a number is 10. That's it, because we're here. We are here together. We're on this side of the earth. And, there are people who wish they could be. We're here. So we're 10. That's the only option. We're 10. And then what we choose to do with that 10, that's kind of up to us. Y'all, I have to stop admitting everyone at some point so that we can actually have a conversation. So my name is Julie Voris. I'm here coming to you from Carmel, Indiana. If it has a little bit of a echoey sound, that's because I'm in my daughter's room that you can't see right now, and it is clean as a whistle. It is empty, empty, empty. Do you know why? Because we move from this house in 3 days now. On Friday morning, a big fat moving truck is pulling up at my house and pulling all the stuff that used to be in this room and the other rooms, putting it on that big fat moving truck and taking it right down to Windermere, Florida, 10 minutes from the Magic Kingdom. So there's a lot going on in my house right now. So I know someone asked in the question in the Facebook earlier, like, what do you do when you have a lot going on? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You show up and you do a call. That's what you do when you have a lot going on, because there's never a season when there's not a lot going on. So I am hoping that we have some cues, because my very favorite thing to do is A's to your cues. I like to have A's to your cues, or at least give you some thoughts to some of the cues that you might have. A little bit of background, if we have not had the honor of meeting yet, and let me say, it's probably likely that we haven't, because it's been a long time since we've had a live in-person event. So we probably haven't had the honor of meeting in person yet, and I'm so excited when that actually happens, hopefully in St. Louis for all of us. This summer we will be able to do that. We will meet. But my name is Julie Voris. I am here in Carmel, Indiana for 3 more days. And come this May, I'm about to blow your minds, but come this May, I have been a coach for 14 years. I said it longer than some of you have been alive. I know that, but I have been a coach for 14 years. And so what I can offer you tonight is some perspective, is experience. There's probably no question, even though everything is very new, in terms of technology and offerings, and we have a bike now, and when I came in, we were on VHS, so I know, yes, things are different, but I think that the business is the same. The business is the same. This is what you do as a coach, my friends. This is what you do. Are you ready? If we ended this call after this, you would be fine, because here's what we do as a coach. You press play, you drink a shake, you read a book, and you invite people to join you. That's it. There's the magic. That is the secret. That's what you do from now until the end of time. From now until the end of time, that's what you do as a coach. And if you are making it any more complicated than that, my friend, that is on you. Because that's not what the business is. You're going to press play, you're going to drink a shake, you're going to read a book, you're going to invite people to join you, period. That is what this business is. That is what this business was in 2008. That's what this business is in 2022. I started this business on MySpace. Now we do it on Instagram and YouTube and all the other platforms. It's still the same. I'm still pressing play, drinking a shake, reading a book, and inviting people to join me. That's what the business is. So I looked at some of your questions in the Facebook group. I love questions. I'm a former high school English teacher. I love questions, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you showed up on this Slave Squad call, if you showed up tonight on this Tuesday night call at 8 p.m. when you could be any other place in the world and you chose to be here, that is a testament to the kind of business you want to build, because you could be a lot of places and you chose to be here. So I don't want to waste your time. I am your Jennifer Jacobs tonight. I don't want to waste your time. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. I'm not going to hold your hand and sing Kumbaya. We don't have time for that. We are grown-up people building multi-million-dollar businesses. We are CEOs of multi-million-dollar businesses. We don't have time to sing Kumbaya, okay? So if you're going to ask me for what is your perfect invite script, I'm going to take my little knuckles through the screen and punch you in the face and tell you, stop it. You're better than that and you're smarter than that. And if you ask me what notebook I use to track, I'm going to tell you, go to Target and get one. Who cares? Okay? So we're going to ask questions that are going to move the needle on our business and not stuff that we can Google. And I am going to do my best to give you some truth, love, and some experiences and, all the things, except I'm not going to hold your hand and sing Kumbaya. That's all. So here's the thing. If you've got a question, I would love for you to put it in the comments. It would be awesome if you could unmute, but clearly we cannot do that. There's way too many people to unmute, and that would be chaos, and you and I both know it. So I just need you to put it in the comments, and then we'll have a conversation around it. Is Brittany Kovacs on here? Because she had a question that we were talking about in the Facebook group, and I would love to talk about that too. And also, I guess I should give you just a little bit of background on me. I was a high school English teacher, and then I became a fitness instructor, and then became a master trainer, and then became a Beachbody coach. And I just need you to know that I knew nothing about any of those things. I knew nothing about teaching high school English until I stepped into the classroom and taught my first class. Even then, I still really didn't know what the heck I was doing. I also didn't know anything about teaching group fitness. I didn't know anything about being a master trainer. I didn't know anything about building an online business, and yet somehow, some way, I figured it out. I'm not any smarter than anybody else. You can figure it out too. So I also want you to stop waiting to know all the answers or waiting to figure everything out. That's what the doing is. You figure it out in the doing. We're not going to know any of all the particulars. I'm going to guess if you are married, if you are on here and you're married, you probably didn't know anything about marriage really until you got married. I'm going to guess if you're a parent and you're on here, you had no idea. You had no idea. Nobody had any idea what it was like to be a parent. We still don't have any idea. My children are in their 20s. I still have no idea what I'm doing. Nobody knows. And yet somehow, some way, lots of us are parents. And I've managed to keep my 3 daughters alive, and I didn't know what I was doing. So we need to get past this idea that we need to know all the things before we do anything. Okay, Brittany Kovacs asked this question in the Facebook group, and I loved it. You know why I loved it? Because it wasn't like, what kind of notebook should I use to track? I don't care, and neither should you. Just get a notebook. Here's Brittany's question, and I loved it. How do you stay inspired when you're feeling burnout and when it seems everyone around you is also burnout? Well, I got something to say about that last part. However, I want you to take a moment right now on this call and take a breath. You have been through arguably the hardest 2 years that you'll ever go through in your life. There will be hard seasons again. But the last 2 years, probably the hardest that you've ever been through in your life. Okay? You've never lived through a global pandemic, neither have I. But we did it, and here we are. Here we are on this Monday. We've done it. We've gone through the hardest thing that we have yet to do. It won't be the hardest thing that we'll ever, there will be other hard seasons, but we've done it. So I need you to take a breath and give yourself some grace and just kind of look at yourself and go, I did that. And now in the comments, I want you to find someone on this call, tag them and say, you did that in the comments right now. Because if we're not going to love on each other, how are we going to love on people that we don't even know yet? in the comments, you need to be tagging someone and going, you know what, you did that. You did that. And here we are, February 2022, almost 2 years later. Here we are, because my girls came home from New York City, from school in New York City in March of 2020. And here we are, February 2022. So we're 2 years into this. You need to give yourself some grace. And then we're going to kind of eliminate that word burned out just a little bit. You're probably tired and you probably have decision fatigue. And we can do some stuff around that. I'm also going to say to you that if you are opening up your Coach Online office on Thursday mornings and expecting that to be the thing to motivate you, we've got this twisted. Your Coach Online office, it's not their responsibility to motivate you. It's your responsibility to keep your cup filled and bring that motivation to your business and let it bleed out and leak out into every aspect of your life. So if I asked you right now, what motivates you, and you can't say your children or your business, can you tell me something that you have in your life that you do that fills your cup, that lights your fire, that inspires you? Because if you can't, that's where we start. You want to get rid of burnout? You got to take care of you. You got to take care of keeping your fire lit. And that doesn't have anything to do with the business necessarily. I saw we went to the movie theater on Saturday night. It was so much fun. We went back to the movie theater. We went and sat in a movie theater and like ordered food. It was like diner. It was so awesome. That was inspiring to me. That made me feel good to be back in a movie theater, seeing a big action adventure movie. And on Sunday, I left my house 2 times in 2 days. It was a really big weekend. On Sunday, I went to musical theater. We had touring show in Indianapolis, Pretty Woman. It was awesome. It was the Broadway in Indianapolis series. I got to sit in a theater for 2.5 hours and watch people sing and dance live on stage. That filled my cup. Neither of those have anything to do with my business, but I tell you what, I was pretty darn excited for my workout this morning because I took care of me. I don't really worry about being burnt out. I worry about keeping my own cup filled, my own self-inspired, and then that will leak out into my business, into my life. There's a reason why when I did Insanity Max 30 the first time, why my business changed. Because I was so on fire for what I was finding out about myself. I was so on fire and lit up and inspired by what I was finding out that I could do that it leaked out into every other part of my life, including my business. And it was a catalyst for moving us from a 9-star to a 15-star team because I was on fire, not for my business, for my life. That translated into my business. I'm suggesting if you're feeling a little burned out or a little tired, number one, it's okay. It's been a long 2 years. And if you're a female, you're taking a lot of that on. Number two, I would suggest you're not doing enough to motivate and inspire you and keep your own cup filled. That's not the job of this business. That's the job of you. And then you move that into your business. You help it keep the fire lit for your business from keeping your own self inspired. If the people around you feel like they're a little burnout too, well, what you're not changing, you're choosing. So it's time to choose a different community. Aren't you lucky that you have 400,000 coaches around you that are pretty awesome people? And you get to decide who's in your corner. You get to decide. Don't for 1 minute think that you don't. You get to decide who's in your corner. If you don't like who the people are that you're having conversation with all the time, change. What you're not changing, you're choosing. Choose differently. Choose differently. Choose people who will fill your buckets. And that might take a little bit of time to figure out, but you know what? That's okay too. That's all part of the process. That's all part of being a work in progress. Brittany Kovac, tell me if that helped a little bit. Tell me if that helped a little bit. Did that answer a little bit of your, answer a little bit of your question? I just think, my gosh, listen, I think that we spend too much time relying on this business to fire us up. That is not its job. So let me ask you this, and I don't know if any of you wrote it in here or not. If I ask you right now what inspires you, can you tell me? And you can't talk about your kids and you can't talk about your business. Can you tell me something? And if you can, put it in the comments. Nope, not your workouts. I know they do. I get that, Meredith. I get it. But nope, that's not what I'm talking about. That's your business. I need something that you maybe go to or do or participate in. Maybe you knit. Does that inspire you? Like hiking. Yes. Nope, not your vision. No, I mean painting. Yes. Cooking. I love that. I hate to cook. Please come to my house and be inspired in my house and do your cooking because I hate to cook. I love singing. I love it. Has nothing to do with the business, but has everything to do with your life. This business and this life are intertwined. There is no such thing as work-life balance. It's work-life integration. Gardening. I love that. I love that. Reading. Yes. New York City. That's my girl right there. I love that. Yes. You got to light your own fire. That's your own responsibility. If you take nothing else away from this call, it's here's what I do to build my business. I press play, drink a shake, read a book, and I invite people to join me. And I take care of myself. And if I can keep my own fire lit, that's what people are drawn to. Think about the people that you follow on social. Think about the people that you're drawn to. I bet you they're excited for their life. In some way, I bet you they're excited for their life. And that bleeds over into their business. Your energy absolutely matters. Absolutely matters. Okay. Next question. You're going to have to type it in the comments right now, whatever question that you want me to, because there's lots of scrolling that's happening right now. So tell me another question so that we can talk about it. I hope that answered your question. I hope that kind of opened your mind a little bit. Notice I do no PowerPoints. Listen, we're packing over here. We don't have time for PowerPoints. Nothing you can Google. Someone said they just started teaching yoga. Best experience I've had in the 14 years I've had being a coach. That's a fun one. Free Facebook groups. Nope. Ask your upline coach. Best advice you've received outside of coaching that you applied to coaching. It was a game changer. I'll tell you that story. The best advice that I've ever received outside of coaching and that I've applied to coaching, it's also the same advice that I've applied to my life. My dad was a 40-year Navy man. So he was a civil engineer and he was in the Navy for 40 years. And he would say, you shower, you shave, there's another word in there, and you show up. There's 4 SH words, but he edited that third one for his impressionable young daughter. So you shower, you shave, and you show up. And that last one, that show up, he literally infused that in me because of how he was in life. You show up when it's inconvenient. You show up sometimes when you don't want to. You show up for the important people in your life. You show up, you do the thing. And I saw that modeled for me. And so I kind of integrated that into my life. And that's been one of the most influential pieces of advice that he gave me, but more importantly, that he lived right in front of me, was he showed up. I took that in, I show up. So I won't always be the first, and I won't always be, the flashiest or have the most or whatever, but I will show up, and I will show up when it's inconvenient. Every year we have a conference called Leadership Conference in the fall. And for the past 30 years, my husband has been a head college football coach. So you can guess that going to a leadership event in the fall is a little problematic because that's in the middle of football season. And every year I qualified. I've been to every one that we've ever had. And every year I go. And every year it's challenging to go because it's right in the middle of football season. And I show up. And I sit in the front row. And I take a lot of notes. And I make sure that I'm sitting in the front row. And I make sure that I'm taking a lot of notes. And I show up and soak it in even more because it's a little inconvenient to show up to. So I hope that answers your question. That is the biggest piece of advice I've gotten outside the business, was that you show up even when it's inconvenient, even when it's hard. And I will tell you that if you show up and sit in that discomfort, that's when you'll figure stuff out. If you're only showing up when it's easy, well, anyone can do that. The people that create success in their life, they're the people that show up when it's inconvenient, when it's not so easy, when it's a little bit harder to do. Okay, what else? You shower, you shave, and you show up. Andrea McGrath, you messaged me something, but you direct messaged me, but I'm going to ask the entire group because that's how I am. Do you show up when it's messy and share that part of the story? Well, I don't know, Andrea. Do you think any other human being on this planet has any parts of their life that might be a little messy, a little chaotic, a little bit off balance? Do you think anybody else out there in the 7 billion people that are on the planet, do you think anybody else has a life that's a little bit messy? Or do you think maybe out of the 7 billion people on the planet, it's just you? You know the answer to that. You know that everybody has messy. And so when you show up and show them how to navigate through the messy, you're giving them tools that can help them change their lives, just like the tools that you have. Just like the tools you have in your life. Listen to me. How many of you could have navigated the last 2 years without, and when I say this business, I mean the fitness, the nutrition, the community, the personal development, the income. How many of you could have navigated the last 2 years without this in your life? Type it in the comments. Could you have? Could you have? Could you have just sailed through the last 2 years of a pandemic without this stuff in your life? I'm guessing the answer is no, because it was messy and it was hard and it was a whole season of stuff we had no idea what was going on. And this was our anchor, this was our grounding, this was our center, this was how we navigated through all of it. And if we figured that out and we have that gift, out of the 7 billion people on this planet, don't you think there are a few who wish they would have had it and maybe want it now? Well, the only way they know is if you tell them and if you invite them. So yeah, you show up and you share no matter what. No matter what. Someone needs you today. Someone needs you today. Okay, next question. How we doing? Are we feeling good? Who has the next question? I just keep admitting people. Wait, what is this? Oh, yes. Are we going to talk about spouse support, Bailey Kavanaugh? You really want me to get passionate about this, don't you? Like, you want me to throw things and just get into it. Bailey Kavanaugh says, do you really have to make a connection between working around your husband's schedule? Excuse me, what? I'm sorry, what? What is that sentence? Working around my husband's schedule. Let me keep reading. Constantly being pulled as a mother, wanting to run your business when you're finding your footing, does something just happen or just gradually learn? Let me take a breath here for a moment. We are not holding hands and saying kumbaya, but I love you, Bailey Kavanaugh, for asking this question, because what I think you're asking is, how am I supposed to do it all? Bailey, is that what you're asking me? How am I supposed to do it all? Why, Bailey? Why does he take the primary schedule? Welcome to the patriarchy. I'm here to demolish it. You're asking me how do I do it all, I think is what you're saying. Really, at the heart of it, like, how the heck do I do all these things? All these new roles, maybe that are all new. Maybe being married and, kind of navigating, oh my gosh, I'm married now. Like, this is it. I remember when I student taught, maybe some of you can relate to this. I remember when I student taught, and the very first day I student taught was like, okay, I went and I did my day. And then I walked out the parking lot and I was like, oh crap, I have to go back tomorrow and do that all over again. I bet some of you probably feel like that about marriage. Like, oh crap, here we are. This is it. Here we go. Okay, let me tell you the secret to being married a very, very long time. You have a husband who's gone a lot. Okay, there you go. There's the magic. There's a secret. Just take that away too. So you're navigating this whole marriage thing, which could be new-ish. Then maybe you've had children, which is, my gosh, I mean, what a gift and what a challenge and what a journey, and it never stops. It's always a work in progress of how to parent and mentor and guide and steward these incredible humans that you've chosen to bring into the world. This is the whole thing. And now I'd also like to open a business. And now, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? How do I do all these things? Well, first of all, it's not up to you to do it all. And that is the number one concept that we need to demolish right away. It is not up to you to do it all. It is not up to you to enable your spouse, whether they're a husband, wife, dog, I don't care what they are. I'm inclusive here. So your spouse should not be enabled to believe that you're doing it all. This is a partnership. This is a marriage. This is 2022. This is a partnership. This is a marriage. The two of you need to work together. Now, how is that going to manifest itself the best possible way? If you communicate your goals. So my question is always, when someone says, I don't know if I have spouse support, or I don't know if they understand what I'm trying to do, have you communicated your goals to your spouse? Have you said to your spouse, this is what I want to do with the business? Because until you've had that extremely articulate conversation, you don't get to claim that you are doing it all, or they don't understand, or any of the other stuff that we want to claim to give us an out to building the business. And why you'd want an out to your life, I don't know. Until you've had that very articulate and clear conversation around, these are the goals that I have for my business, you don't get to say anything about your spouse. Now, once you've had that conversation, the two of you need to kind of come together on how this is going to look for you. You know, I didn't really need my husband working out with me. That's gross to me. That's me. I don't need that. I don't need those noises. I don't need anything about that. Go do your own thing, okay? So if you're seeing like, oh, these spouses are working out together, that must be what it takes to build a business. No, that just is what works for them. Do you know how they know that? Because they had a conversation about it. I had a conversation with my husband. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not making your shake for you. I'm not working out with you. It's okay. He does not know all the diamonds on my team. I did not know what plays he was calling in the locker room. It's good. Okay? It's all good. But you have to have a conversation around your goals. And once, let's get really real. Once I called him and said, so I just made a check that's going to cover our mortgage this week, and I'm probably going to make one next week like it. He was like, all right, let's go. All right, let's go. And I say that to you, not because he didn't 100% support whatever I was passionate and in love with doing before. He was as supportive of that as he was when I was making $11 as a group fitness instructor. What I'm saying is, when something is a little bit nebulous, like this business, you're not going to work every day in a bricks and mortar. It's a little bit nebulous like this business. What speaks to people who are a little bit skeptical of it is money. Period. So let's not act like it doesn't. Let's not be, oh, that's so wrong. I'm just here to help people. So am I, the people in my family. First and foremost, that's going to take income. And the beautiful thing about this business, like, it still blows my mind every day. It still blows my mind every day. We get to make income because we get to make an impact. The only way we make income is by helping other people. It's the only way it happens. It's like the least selfish occupation in the world. It's so crazy. We only get to make income by helping people. And the more people we help, the more income we get to make. So, number one, you don't have to do it all. Please disabuse yourself of that notion. Number two, it's okay to hire help. You know, I think about my husband, and he only was a head football coach. Like, he played football, he coached, and then he coached. You would think he would know everything there is to know, except every day he would go down to the office and he had a staff of people that helped him, because that's what a football staff does. So why would we come into a business about which we know nothing? Did any of you go to college for Beachbody coaching? I didn't. I went to become a high school English teacher, okay? So why would we, who did not have any education or experience around this, come into it and think, well, I need to know all there is to know about it, and I better need to do it all on my own? When my husband, who has an undergrad and 2 master's degrees and has only ever been a football coach, goes to work every day with a staff of people that help him make decisions. Why would we think we need to know everything? So we're going to disabuse ourselves of that notion right away. We're going to ask for help, and we're going to have hard conversations, and we're going to make some money. And that's going to take a lot of the friction that you might be feeling off the table right away. We're not singing kumbaya here. We're here to change lives. Go make some money. How do you become addicted to your phone? Well, Casey, that's on you. Casey, you're a grown ass adult. You're gonna have to control your phone. That's on you, Casey. Love you. How do you get people to see potential that you see in them? Desica, first of all, what a cool name. And if you can solve that problem, how do you get people to see potential that you see in them? If you can solve that, you have won the lottery in this business, because that's exactly how we all feel. I want every single person who's on this call right now, all 442 people. Wait, let me admit the other 449 people on a Monday night at 8 p.m. Are you kidding me? You are all rock stars. Do you understand that you're showing up on a Monday at 8 p.m.? And I'm also going to tell you right now, there's someone on this call right now who sees so much potential in you. So much more than you see. And they are thinking that same question about you. They're thinking, oh, if she or he or they would just see what I see in them. Someone thinks that about you. That's the job of a coach. That's what we get to do. We get to help people uncover that. Now, how much they uncover that? You know what? We can't interrupt that process. Their process in uncovering that and acknowledging that and accepting that is their process. It is their journey, and we can't interrupt that. We can only facilitate that and bring them tools and resources and be there and cheer them on and point it out to them. But my husband always said, not everybody can be the quarterback. Some people really just want to be the manager, and that's okay too, because we need all the people filling all the roles. Not everybody will see what you see in them. Our job as a coach is just to continue to see it, to bring it out as much as we can, to facilitate it, to cheer them on, to generate that positive energy, and just know not everybody will see it. And it's kind of the same for you, because someone sees it in you too. And they're thinking right now, oh, they just saw what I see. There's so much more potential. So at the same time you're thinking about that about someone else, someone's thinking that about you too. So let's just keep showing up to do the work. Keep showing up to be that work in progress, and know that we can't interrupt their process. We can't interrupt their process. Oh, let's talk about this one that Julia just answered. How do you not take it personal when your coaches quit or leave the business? Well, first of all, I don't. I do take it personal. So I don't. You're assuming that I don't take it personally. I do. Come on now. I sent them gifts. I took them to Disney and they left. What? Okay, listen. Every single year, my husband has an entire class of players leave and graduate. It's not personal. It's their time. It's time for them to move on. So in a football season where you think that it's just playing the games in August, September, October, if you're lucky, maybe November, no, what you're doing is recruiting. You're recruiting 9 of the 12 months, because in May, you're going to lose a whole class of students every single year. And you're going to bring new in, and the next May, a whole class is going to leave, and a whole class is going to, because their time is done, their season is done. And you know, I think we've probably all experienced, if you've been around for a little bit, you've probably experienced coaches leave, especially in the last 2 years, because it was hard. And I've worked on my mindset a lot, and I've realized that I'm just grateful that I could be there in the time that they needed this and give it to them. And maybe it's just their time to graduate and go on to something else. And my hope is that when they graduate and they go on to something else, or whatever happens, that they leave and go out into the world better than when they came. That's all that I can hope. That's all I can hope. So when my husband's players graduate, his hope is that they go out into the world better than when they came in as freshmen. That's all we can hope, is we show up and we do our job, and we hope to help make them better. Some will stay 14 years, some will not. It's all good. We just have to hope that We served them and we're here for them in the season of life that they needed it. And if you're asking how to not take it personally, I'm always a work in progress on that. I think that it's a personal relationship based business, and sometimes our head can know stuff that our heart doesn't. So that's always a work in progress. But if you remember that, just like in college, people graduate every May, sometimes it helps detach a little bit from that. And just like everybody can't be the quarterback, not everyone's going to have a winning season, and they're just going to go on and do what's best for them. And you're going to wish them well, and you're going to hope that you help them be a better person on the other side of it. Oh, Lord, there's 27 messages from that one question. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling. You keep asking questions. How else can I serve you today? How else can I help you today? What else can I offer you today? What is something you know now that you wish you would have when I started the business? Are you ready, Meredith? It's really groundbreaking. Here we go. Are you ready? Just start. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Let me tell you, when I joined this business and on MySpace, I did nothing with it for 8 months. Okay, 8 months. Now, yes, that's part of my journey. That's part of my whole experience. Yes, I did nothing with it for 8 months, but y'all, listen, if you have a coach that comes on your team that does nothing with it for 8 months, aren't you like, what are you doing? Right? I'm sure my coach was like, what are you doing? I wish I would have just been like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to start. I wish I would have had those 8 months back. But I don't. So now I can tell you, if you are tiptoeing around or doing anything, stop messing around. Stop playing small. Just start. Just start. Yeah, I know, Heather. She says, thank you, because I have a soft heart and I take it personally, like I worked my ass off to make sure they did good. You know what? There's a little bit of validation issue right in there too, Heather. I'm just going to say it. You can work really hard, but if you are attached to them liking you and staying with you because you did a good job, there's some validation issues in there that you may want to unpack. We all have it. You may want to unpack that a little bit. I don't use business apps, but I will recommend a book. I don't use apps, though. Jessica, how to push past social anxiety that I've struggled with my entire life when all I want to do is help people. Jessica's iPhone. May I ask how you discovered this business? How did you find this business? And while I scroll down and find Jessica's answer, I'm going to answer Juanita's. I'm going to tell you what you need to read right now. Some of you probably already know. Well, I'm going to tell you two. You ready? Some of you already know because it's the book I recommend all the time. Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger. Some of you are writing that down like you've never heard me say that. Where have you been? Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger. Get that, but if you've never heard of this book, then you have not been around me for very long. And Try Not to Cry in the prologue. You're exactly right. And number 2, Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, especially if you're struggling specifically as a mom and spending time with your children. Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I really loved Super Attractor by Gabby Bernstein. Really loved that. I also loved, why can't I say the name of it? His name is Carey Nieuwhof, and it's all about working in your zones. Carey Nieuwhof, it's all about working in your zones. Why can't I say the name of it? Carey, I'm not spelling his name completely right, but I think that's his name. Look up something like that. But it's all about finding your zones and working in your green zone, your yellow zone, your red zone. So good. It's so good. Right now I'm reading Daniel Pink's new book about regret. So good. So good. And tomorrow Gabby Bernstein's new book comes out, and I'll be reading that as soon as it comes out. So good. Jessica, did you answer my question? You came across someone who spoke about the business of instantly attracted because I was already so obsessed with fitness and nutrition. Jessica, you're not answering my question. where did you come across someone talking about the business? We all know what the answer is, don't we? We know what the answer is. We know that she came across someone talking about the business on social media. Like, we already know that. That's where she came across someone talking about the business, probably. Highly, highly likely that she came across someone talking about the business. I just was having this conversation with a newer coach on our team who was talking about she gets so anxious when she has to share, and she posted a video of herself working out today. It's so awesome. So proud that she did that. That's a big step. Here's the thing. You probably found this business through social media. Okay? You probably found it through social media in some way. You probably found social proof around the business or around before and afters, around the programs on social media. So then you came into your life and now it's changed your life. It's changed your life for the better, which is why you're on a call on a Monday night at 8 p.m. It's changed your life for the better. If you don't share that, get ready. You're being selfish. I said what I said. You're being selfish because you found it on social media, probably. And if you aren't sharing that, you're gatekeeping. Do you think there's a limited amount of job one? Like, they only made so many job ones, except it's digital, so you know that's not true. Do you think we're going to run out of Shakeology or, God forbid, Energize? No, that's not going to happen. You don't have to gatekeep any of that. If you found this business and it's changed your life and you discovered it on social and you're not sharing it, you're gatekeeping it. And that's selfish. And I said it. Kumbaya. So if we run out of Energize, I mean, it's over for me. It is over for me. I would. What if you show up, share information, pour into groups? Also, I'm just going to say, Nicole, I feel like I know you, Nicole. How do I know you? Do you come to my Energize Live? I feel like I know your name. Listen, I cannot stand the phrase pour into groups. That's personal. I just can't stand it. Only one of the teams shows up. What do? Well, you keep looking and you keep building. What? My husband came to Butler University. They had won 3 games in 3 years. 3 games in 3 years. Do you know how many games we won the first year? We won 3. 3 out of however many we played. 3. What if he just stopped? He was like, okay, that's good. I'm just going to do that. We only won 3 games. No, you keep winning. And then he won the conference championship, and then he was coach of the year. You keep showing up. You don't just stop. What if someone had decided to stop right before you got an invite and you weren't here and you didn't have an opportunity to have all this in your life to change your life? What if that would have happened? Well, no one's showing up, so I'm just going to stop. And then you were the one that didn't get the invite. Here's what I think. I'm going to show up, whether one person shows up on Energize Live or 500 people show up. I'm going to show up to teach my group fitness class, whether one person shows up or 500 people show up. The level of service and care and passion and drive and mission that I have doesn't change according to the number of the people that show up. My dream doesn't change according to the number of people who show up to give me a high five and tell me I'm doing a great job. My dream doesn't change if there are more people that show up. But I know this, if I stop showing up, so will the people. So I'm going to keep showing up. Because on that day that I don't show up, what if that one person said, you know what, I'm ready. And if she's on today, I'm going to go ask her. And then I didn't show up. And what if that person would have been you? My dream doesn't change according to the number of people who show up. I show up with my heart and my dreams and my goals and my mission. And the right people will come if your heart's in the right place. If you're worried about numbers and validation and approval, I imagine it's going to be a hard path for you. If you're concerned about your mission and your goals and your dreams and you have a vision for your life, then you'll keep showing up. If I asked you right now, what is your hashtag move to Disney dream? What's your move to Disney dream? Could you type it in the comments? Because I've been wanting to move to Disney since high school. Could you type your move to Disney dream in the comments? What is it? I would love to see what it is. Buy an art studio, a home on the beach, a house in Mexico, a lake house. Now listen, let me tell you this. Keep typing. I asked this question on my Instagram stories this week or over the weekend. People responded, and I DM'd a few of them. I was so curious. Like, oh my gosh, do you have a timeline on this? What are you doing to put this into action? When are you going to make this happen? Every single one of them said, no, I hadn't really thought about that. Every single one of them. They were writing down a dream like this, a home in Europe. And every single one of them I had a conversation with said, oh, no, I hadn't really thought about how I was going to make it happen. Do you know what's cool about you on this call right now? Is you have the way to make it happen. So what you have to decide now, what you get to decide now every single day is, are you going to show up no matter who else shows up? Are you going to press play, drink a shake, read a book, invite people to join you? Are you going to show up for your dream and do the work to make it happen? Are you going to show up since high school and do the work to make it happen? Or are you just going to write it on a vision board and go, that's cute, and then hope maybe something happens? Because right now, you have a vehicle to get to that dream. A dream, it's a map for your life. But you have to get in the car and drive it. You have to get in the car and drive it. In this business, it's the fuel to get you there if you'll show up and do the work. Stop complicating it. Nobody cares what notebook you're using. Nobody cares what pen you're using. Nobody cares what your invite is. People want you. They want you on a journey, showing them what it looks like about life being better with all of this in it. That's all they want. How will my life be better with all of this in it? Why should I say yes? How will my life be better? And you show them that by showing up every single day, being on your journey. And when they're ready and you invite them and they're the right person and you've been showing up, it does not matter what your invite script is. It matters what's in your head and in your heart and your energy and your vibe. And if you keep showing up, when you invite them, they will say yes. Because it won't matter what your invite script is. But if you're worried about that script and that notebook and that system and that bat and that filter and whatever else, good luck. Because that's not what this business is about. We get to change lives every single day. And we get to do it in a pair of joggers and a Disney sweatshirt, drinking out of a tumbler at 8 o'clock in my daughter's empty bedroom. Are you kidding me? We're the luckiest people in the world that we get to do this every single day. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not make it more dramatic or bigger. Let's just show up and do the work. I swear to you, I could not be in this business 14 years later if it was more complicated than that. That's how I'm here 14 years later. That's how I'm moving to Florida on Friday. So if you have any doubt if your dream can come true, click into my Instagram stories on Friday. That should be all the proof you need. So what is your move to Disney dream? And what are you going to do every single day to make it happen? Because you have the vehicle to make it happen. All you have to do is show up. Listen, I believe in you. Your coach believes in you. I mean, it's 2022, y'all. Let's go. Like, what are we waiting for? Because if we're not going to show up now, we've done the last 2 years a big disservice. Let's not do that. Let's show up. Let's do the work. Let's help people. Let's change lives, including and most importantly, our own. I believe in you. I'll see you in St. Louis. Yes? Let's make it a great week. Great last week of February, all right? Have an awesome last week.